Is there a place I can go where the lonely river flows, where fear ends and faith begins? Hallelujah, hallelujah, let me in.
Welcome, y'all. We are finishing up the last 10 tools to why personal discipleship is really needed. Tune in, focus in. It won't be a long Bible study tonight because we had an extra bonus hour that y'all just can't see. So tune in, focus in, take your notes. Steps of the reason why personal discipleship is important. This is point number 5. The practice of mentoring or spiritual parenting is not being modeled by older believers.
The practice of mentoring
And spiritual parenting is not being modeled by older believers. What just happened was an older believer. She showed that after her daughter blessed her with the book, then she immediately said, let me bless somebody else. And then after she said, let me bless somebody else, Deron said, listen, I got another book. I ordered one with mine. Phil, bam, bam, bam. It just literally just happened. And the thing is, the reason why we don't feel like discipleship is important because our grandparents didn't disciple nobody. Our aunties, our uncles, the elders of the church, they didn't disciple nobody. They invited us to come to church, but they never really sat down with us and said, now we ain't that church, let's read the Bible. Right. Now we not that church, let's work on your personal walk. Because we got out of the norm. But Matthew 28, 19 through 20, somebody got it for us? Yep. Let's hear it.
Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen.
Man, the Great Commission, something that we taught that along with, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. We taught those in the same two sentences. That's our commission. That's what we have been commissioned from God to do. To go ye make disciples of all nations. It didn't say go make church members. It didn't say go make converts. It didn't go say get people to fill the seats. It said go ye make disciples. And so we have to get to the point where we want to take this one-on-one. That's how it becomes effective. Literally. I guarantee you when me, Phil, Ryan, Tati, and Xavier sat down yesterday in our small little group, and our Bible study was so powerful than it would have been if it was 50 of us. Because we couldn't ask the question. We felt like we couldn't be ourselves. And we got to stop depending on the 50. But we got to start depending on, doing it one-on-one. Making it personal. Making it personal. Tracy Davis just walked in and listen, I literally text her, the twins and the family was on my mind the other day. She said, listen, I'm sitting talking to God about what book can I study next. So the book that I gave her made it one-on-one. Now she has a book that we can both relate to. So when she gets to reading, she can ask me a question and we can talk about it. We can get it. We can dig into that book. And so I'm going to encourage all of y'all again. It's been in the program for over a month. Reach out to me. Let's do a personal Bible study. We ain't got to meet up. We can call each other. We can read the same thing. We can get there. I want to mentor one-on-one because the whole goal is to make everybody leaders. Somebody get to 1 Peter. That's what we're going to right now. 1 Peter. Personal discipleship, point number 6. I'm moving quickly because I really want to get to last night's Bible study. I really want to get done with this. I just can't jump it though. Take your time. All right. No. Personal discipleship. Spiritual parenting. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the reason why people, the biggest argument, the Republican argument, is the reason why they believe that same-sex marriage is a sin and it shouldn't be illegal is because they say it's going to kill off the nation. We can't rebirth that way. We are put on earth to be fruitful and multiply. And so we look at that situation and we use that verse with we can't be fruitful and multiply. If Jane and so-and-so is together, he and he's together. But we will never take that same mind frame in the church. The same people who use that scripture are not parenting nobody. You don't have no spiritual children under you. And all of us got to get to the point where we got spiritual children under us. I shouldn't be the only one with spiritual children. Everybody should have somebody else that they're mentoring to get them to the next level. 1 Peter 5, 1 through 3. Anybody got it? I got it.
I got it.
You got it? All right.
The elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a taker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly.
Stop right there. We're going to stop right there. Not by constraint, but willingly. See, as a shepherd, it's not about lording over somebody. When you do get in a personal one-on-one discipleship, I said it 4 times and I'm going to say it again. The reason why I'm not asking nobody, can we get together and do a Bible study, because I want it to be something willing. And the thing is, we have a lot of people who are willing and want to get in the Word. They want to walk with you. They want to learn with you. They're looking for it. They're willing. They're willing spirits. And so when we see somebody on Facebook crying out to God, when we see somebody at work crying out to God, when we see our friends struggling, they start to cry out to God. They are willingly asking somebody, please come help me. Please help me. I'm lost right now. Listen, we cannot assume because they're crying out to God that they know God.
Amen.
But they just know that God is the way. But if nobody helps them to get to that way, then guess what? They're going to go back to their old ways.
Right.
And so we have to catch people in a willing spirit. That's why I stated, I'll say it again. If you want to have one-on-one Bible study, I'll come to you. You can come to me, but I'm not going to ask you. Because if I ask you, then that's me as your shepherd lording over you, forcing you to do it. Now, last night, we were supposed to get together at 9 o'clock to have our one-on-one Bible study. And they didn't show up to whatever time they showed up. But I never once called them and asked once they coming, did I? They were sitting outside actually, and I missed the call. Because if they wouldn't have showed up, I wasn't going to lord over them and like I was a boss. I'm like, hey, no call, no show, you fired. That's what we talked about Sunday, you know. I wasn't going to do that, because it has to take a willing spirit. Because anybody that's willing, guess what? Then they can learn something.
Amen.
But when you ain't willing, then you're like, when is this going to be over with? But we was there till 11:30, and nobody once. I think I was the only one that was ready for to wrap it up, speed it up. I kept cutting the conversation like, all right, y'all, come on, we gotta move on. Let's finish it over. I kept trying to use the excuse that Phil got to get home. He a married man to his wife, and he kept telling me his wife sleep. And I'm like, all right, well, listen, I've been at work all day, but the thing is, they were willing. They were willing, and anybody that's willing, they're ready. And so when we see somebody that's willing to come to church, when we see somebody that's willing to study, we got to get to the point where let's do it one-on-one. Even if you ain't got time, I will make time. The guy asked me at the desk up here today, he said, you ever going to stop working your other jobs and just focus fully on the church and, just walk with this church? Because these young guys, because the kids from the basketball gym, they came and said what's up to me. He's like, they know you? I said, yeah, I talked to them a couple times. He's like, why you come up here more? I work. And that's what led to that conversation. I would love to. I would love to, and I think if I quit my job and I ain't got nothing to do, and I'm sitting at home, that ain't going to give me no blessings. But I think God would take care of me if I had 7 Bible studies. Now I got a valid reason. God, listen, you see that people are asking me to meet with them every day of the week. God, you see that people are hungry for your word. I know you're going to take care of me for this, but he can't take care of me from sitting back on my phone on Facebook inviting people to church. He said you can do that really anytime. You can reach out there and communicate with people on Facebook anytime. Anyway, so moving along. 1 Peter 1:13. We stopped at the willingly, and so you can just go ahead and go. You got it.
Not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being Lord over God's heritage, but being example to the flock.
See, and the thing we got to do, y'all, we just can't tell people what to do, but we rather have to show them what to do. We can't, the stage of us just telling people what to do is over with. We can't just tell people to come to church and we not coming to church. We can't tell people to come to Bible study, we not coming to Bible study. We can't tell people to read their Bibles, we not reading our Bibles. So we literally got to get to the point where we're not just telling them, but we're giving them an example to follow. I say it all the time. We are literally from, bless you, we are literally from the Show Me State, y'all. And people follow you. So when you give them something to follow, they're willing to follow. But nobody's going to follow me if all I do is talk about it. If all I do is just, just say, listen, well, y'all come to Bible study and I come when I want to come. That's not going to work. But if I say pray to God every day and I'm praying to God every day, literally I'm showing you that I'm praying to God every day on Facebook Live, now it's easy for you to say, listen, I can take all my troubles and my concerns to God. I can take it all to God. Now, prime example, another one just walked in. This morning, I was 3 minutes late. Like I do most mornings. I turn them on right off when it comes on if I'm too tired. So when I called in on the prayer call, guess who's already on there doing the prayer call? Ryan. He's already on the phone doing it. You know, he was already doing it. So I just hung the phone up and I just got on the Facebook Live and did mine on the Facebook Live, the late one. Basically, it was a late call. But the thing is, why did Ron do that? Because it wasn't something I told him to do. He seen me doing it, so he said, listen, I know not to wait. I know just to jump on. By itself will lead you to spiritual maturity. Now, there's assumption by many that people who know the Bible front and backwards, that causes you to have spiritual maturity. Wrong. Now, we can sit here right now, and I guarantee y'all, I'll probably know less Bible verses than y'all do.
All right.
I guarantee y'all.
All right.
I'm serious. Now, if you start saying it, I probably can finish it.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you what book, what chapter, and what verse.
All right.
Now, I know all the comments, I know them, I can sing them, but I can't tell you exactly where they at. But give me 2 seconds, I can go research it.
Amen.
You know, because in my day and age, we got the research age. I can pull my phone out right now and say Romans 10 and 10, and it's going to tell me what Romans 10 and 10 is. So I'm more lazier than the older saints. Older saints had them, listen, you didn't get out of Sunday school until you knew these 10 Bible verses, and listen, next Sunday you better have those 10 together. And listen, Ryan, he was in class with an old school teacher, and listen, Dr. Counts, and he had, how many was it? Like 14 Bible verses. He had to have them done in a week. He didn't have them done in a week, memorized, so he gave him a couple more. And said, now you do 19. And you better have them all done next week, or you won't be pastoring at your church. You'll be sitting on the front row of my church. That was his teacher said, to pass this class. So you're either going to memorize your Bible verse or you're going to sit on my front row. Because that's how seriously that the older saints was about, listen, you better remember these Bible verses. And the reason why he was telling Ron, you need to remember these Bible verses, because you should never answer nobody with your own words.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Anytime you answer somebody and they come to you with a problem, a situation, you need to find that problem and that situation in Scripture.
Amen.
That's all. That's the principle he was teaching them. But we ain't got there because guess what? We don't read our Bibles no more, y'all. You know, we lazy on our study habits. We lazy in our study habits. You know, when you get a script and you got to do that movie or that play, you got to memorize that script. And if you ain't got your lines, it's somebody behind you, an understudy, that's studying and hoping that you don't know your lines to replace you.
Right.
To replace you. So my whole point of saying this, just because you know a whole lot of Bible verses don't mean that you're spiritually mature, though.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
This don't mean that you're spiritually mature. I'm a living example of that. I'm probably more spiritually mature than most of us because I've studied and I have sought after of it, not longer, but more deeply in focus on it. But I can't tell you all the Bible verses. So don't be confused by the drunk on the corner who can read the whole Bible front to backwards. Trust me, they know it.
Right.
They know it. Don't let that confuse you. But we got to remember that, listen, we all are spiritually mature and we can help somebody else because we want to help. And just the last night Bible study, we walked through that text together, but we walked through and we were teaching each other. Amen. You know, everybody brought something to the table. Everybody brought something to the Bible study. It wasn't just me teaching. Everybody taught each other. Amen. Everybody taught each other. And all I'm here to do is make sure that you're not losing your mind and putting too much of yourself into the Word. Because you can make the Word say whatever you want to say at the end of the day. You know. So, moving on. 8. Yes, we getting there. 8. The church community typically focuses on making converts rather than making disciples. Now, we mentioned this earlier upon. Let's explain what a convert is first. A convert is someone who comes to church, they get saved, then nobody walks with them on their personal life. They only like to be talked to. They never talk back. The people who come in church and we preach at them, we pray for them, we talk to them, but we never really ask what's going on. We never get personal. We never, listen, they pray for me, Pastor, and that's just enough for us because we treat them as converts. But disciples, when you say pray for me, is there a need I can pray for? But how can I talk to you and trust you with my need unless you've been discipling with me? To disciple somebody got to be a two-way conversation. And all of us have to get to that point where we're discipling somebody where they trust us with their problems. Where they trust us with telling us all their dirty laundry. And they know that, listen, it's safe with us because we are spiritual parents. And you should be able to tell your parents anything. So when you're discipling people, you got to get to the point where that trust is built. Everybody's not going to trust me with all their mess. Everybody's not going to trust me with all their flaws. So that's why everybody that here tonight, I need y'all to become a leader. I need y'all to become in the top part of it. We can't go back all the way to this whole lesson, you know, but we're talking about the followers and the leaders and how there's a whole lot of followers and a few leaders in the church. That's the old church. But that's not effective, because at the end of the day, the whole lot of leaders, the followers feel like they can't get to the leaders. That's why a lot of mega churches don't work, because they feel like I have no connection to the pastor. I go in there, they really don't know my name.
Right.
But Mount Zion, who has 28,000 members, they have over 2,000 pastors also. And everybody that's assigned to that church is assigned to a pastor that you can go to for immediately personal needs, and he can get to the main pastor. And how he built his church to 28,000 members, because every Monday he took a picture of his new members and he sat there and memorized their names. So then when people came up to him and they said, hey, pastor, he called them by name, and it shocked the mess out of them. You got 28,000 members. How did you remember my name? You join his church, he spends all day Monday memorizing names. So he can put a face to a name. Face to a name. Huh? Bishop Walker. He didn't know your name? Did you join his church? Yeah.
The flip side of that is
I can tell you that part.
because sheep begot sheep, the shepherd, God did that as a protection for the shepherd so that it don't burn the shepherd out.
Exactly. Sheep begot sheep.
Sheep begot sheep, not shepherd begot sheep.
Exactly. The shepherd just leads the sheep. So all of us should have a ministry under us. All of us should have people following after us. And the thing is, if you get in your word and you disciple with them, as a disciple, to disciple somebody, it's a two-way conversation. And it's not just teaching them, but it's loving on them, it's caring on them, it's checking on them. And that's how you're my disciple. Right now, all right, now Ryan, just let it go. Phil. he calls Phil the teacher's pet. But Phil, discipleship with Xavier is so strong. So when Xavier came in the house, he had a meal to eat, because before Phil brought him to the Bible study, he texted him and said, are you hungry? You know, are you hungry? Because it's more than just biblically. You got to be, listen, there financially, physically, emotionally. You got to be there wholeheartedly through it all. It's your baby.
That's your baby.
And you got to be a spiritual parent. You got to be a spiritual parent. You got to be a spiritual parent. And just like you would take care of your kids, you go the extra mile for your kids, you got to do the same thing for your spiritual kids. We all got to get kids. And we all got to be fruitful and multiply. So if you ain't being fruitful and multiply, then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Everybody should be adoption center. You should be ready to go adopt a family, adopt a person, adopt somebody who you know that you can walk with and y'all can grow together, get their trust, build their trust, and before you know it, then they can go get somebody else. Then you got spiritual grandkids. Because he gonna go tell them what Phil did, and so when Xavier gets strong enough, he gonna get a whole other group, and then it's just gonna, now I'll be a great-great-grandfather. I'll be listening, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's the pastor, but that ain't who really saved me, who walked with me. It was, you know, Phil who walked with me, and that ain't really who saved Phil. It was Xavier who walked with Phil. And then y'all see that the line keep growing? If we get converts, they gonna do what? Come to the church one at a time, sit there, come to the front, be saved, join the church, you know, participate in worship, and they're gonna go home, and we never know what's going on at home. Nobody knows. Can't just count on me to get in everybody's personal business, because everybody ain't gonna talk to me. Everybody not gonna trust me.
That's like what we talked about last night too, about having the need to feel like you have to be clothed.
Yeah.
And if you got people that you can talk to about your personal things, like it's like being naked. Yeah. So and that's how we're supposed to be with our spirit. We're supposed to be naked and not want to hide, but we want to hide and be clothed.
Exactly.
You know,
so. Exactly. Let's look at Luke 6:40, y'all. Then we gonna be here about. I'm gonna jump through the rest of this. I want to get to that scripture there. I feel like that's heavy up on me when I open my Bible today.
Just 40.
Just 6:40, yes sir.
The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master.
The disciple is not above his master, but everybody that is as a student should be just like his master. So that's not saying that nobody's going to be above the pastor of the church, but everybody should have the same tools, the same gifts, the same walk as the pastor of the church. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to replace myself. I'm not trying to take responsibility off myself. No, I'm still going to lead y'all. I'm still going to guide y'all as a whole to the promised land. I'm going to walk you out to the promised land. But if I'm in the front walking and you just joined in the back and it's 200 of us, you can't really hear my message clearly maybe all the time. You might get distracted. What if the enemy come and attack you in the back and I'm in the front and all I can see is the front? So that means somebody in the back needs to know what the master knows. Somebody in the back needs to know that, listen, prayer still works. Somebody in the back needs to know, listen, God can do all things but fail to encourage you. A good example of that is the Psalms, the book of Psalms. Wow. Now the study, we finished it up. It was strong, but the overflow was powerful. We can't show you on video. We need you in the attendance. We need you in one of these green chairs to hear about a great, good God. God, we love you. God, we thank you for the word that you deposit unto us tonight. 2 Corinthians, 5th chapter, 1 through 10. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, we chewed on it. Oh, we've been communing on it. I need you to come and worship with us. We cannot allow you to sit back on the video in the presence of your home. But it says in the word to be at home in your body, but it's to be away from the Lord. Get here. Be with the Lord, because he's here at 24-Hour Faith. We love you. We thank you. Like, share, subscribe. And you can always send your donations to PayPal 24FTCKC. We love you. We thank you.